Anant, please start guiding.
First run lsblk command to check the edit disk.
Yes.
blk. These two are the newly added disks. First, we have to format it.
No.
Sir, what we are doing to create a LVM?
LVM.
So we can directly create the PV, na?
Right.
PV create -v for verbose mode space /dev this name xvdb /xvdb xvdb this name. Sir, we can pass two disk name at the same time by giving space.
Yes, we can specify two volumes together after the space.
And PV create command not found.
Maybe you need to use sudo. You are using EC2 user.
Hey, this is showing command not found.
Not found.
First, okay, now run the same command. Just type in PV and press tab. PV, press tab.
Not showing.
Can you please check what operating system is it?
The next one is sir.
Just run a command cat /etc os-release. Cat. Okay. Now what will you do? This is new use case.
We can install LVM, sir.
Yes, definitely we will have to do that. Yum install. First of all, run a command rpm-qa. Pipe grab LVM.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, 8 enter. Okay, now run a command yum list. Not -l, yum list. Pipe grab LVM. There is a package LVM2.
Yes, sir.
Just run a command yum install LVM2. Hit enter. Okay, go ahead. Now you can create PV.
Let's
LBLK.
LSBLK.
LSBLK. You can type that.
okay, sorry. LSBL.
BLK. Now you can run a command PV display to check whether it is created or not. Both the disks are added. Now we have to create the volume group. For that, VG create
Okay.
space volume group can give the name to volume group, any name you want to give. Space the disk you have added / dev xvdb and xvd. The disk you have added, just you have to add that.
X. Both, sorry.
For that, you have to extend the volume group now. It will create the new group now. You can run a command VG extend.
VG.
Extend volume group name my vol.
Okay.
Now new disk name that you have tried to adding xvdc name /dev /xvdc. Now you can run a command VG display or VGS. VG is created. Now we have to create the LVM for it. LV create. Lokendra sir, we have to give the complete space or half one.
So you can create one LVM of maybe 2 GB. After that, we can extend it.
Okay. LV create -L, capital L.
First of all, define name.
-N for giving the name.
-N, na?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give the name to the LV.
Name my wall or any other.
Any other. It should be related to it.
Okay.
Like you can give my LV.
Okay.
space -L 2G
Small G or
capital G. Then you have to give your volume group name, my wall.
continue. Like this, huh?
Yeah. Now you can check it running LV display command. LV. Yeah, it is created LV size of 2 GB.
Yeah.
Now we have to format it for mounting it. MKFS. MKFS.
MK.
FS. -T.
E.
Yeah. File system time ext4.
Where is the
ext4. This time we are formatting it. ext4. Now copy this LV path /dev my wall my LV.
this one? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I will continue. Enter.
Yeah. Now you can run the command blkid over this to check whether it is formatted or not.
Where it is, we will take this one.
This is the file system type we are formatting it. There are various file system available. You can put it ext4, ext2, xfs.
Okay. After that,
Run blkid.
BIK.
blkid. Space this volume group, this path that you have given. You forgot slash after day.
Okay.
Enter. Yeah, we run this command to check whether it is successfully formatted or not. Giving UID and type ext4. That means it is formatted successfully. Now we can mount it. For that, we have to create a folder. Go to cd/. Now create any folder. I'm in directory. Now run a command mount. That part /dev/ my wall my LV.
Slash.
You can enter tab to have your options available. My wall.
Okay.
LV name is I think my LV.
Slash my LV.
Yeah. Space that folder you have created.
Okay. I need to path now.
Yeah. You are on slash, so it will get mapped.
Okay.
Now you can run df-ts to check whether it is mounted or not. Capital T. Yeah, it is there. For permanent mounting, you have to give an entry in etc fs tab.
ETC?
Fs tab. /etc/fs vim.
Sorry, come again.
Vim for editing the. Yeah, you can use vi2 /etc fs tab.
Hello, sir. Hello.
First, if you
Someone
want.
asking.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, here we are mounting with a particular directory. What means this directory have this much volume like that? What is the meaning?
Okay, so let me answer that particular question. So whatever the size you are going to specify for your LVM, that particular space will be allocated to that mount point what you are going to use.
That means what mount point means we are giving, suppose here we have created one folder directory and mount on that. So that particular directory have this that much space or means whatever we have defined.
Okay, so let me tell you, Dhananjay, what happens here, that directory never has any space, right? Whatever space we are going to allocate to this LVM, that space will be accessible via that mount point. So as we have different drive letters in Windows, right? Like drive C, drive E drive, D drive, and so on and so forth. So the same way, we are going to create mount points in Linux operating system. So a drive itself has space, and the particular mount point is just a medium to access that particular. That is it.
So it's not clear. I think it's actually some mounting means we are means attaching something like that. So whatever we have created.
Mounting means the particular logical volume which we have created. How we are going to access it?
Sir mentioned in the yesterday lecture, directory is just a path. Through that path, we would mention that particular disk.
Yes.
Mount point.
Directory is just a path to access this volume which we have created.
Okay, I got it. It means through the directory we have giving the path from where we can means access that volume, right? What we have created. Right.
Now you got it?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Now you can add the entry in it. We have two options for it. Like in this, it is using UUID, and if you want to use it, you can go back and copy it. You're running blkid command.
Sorry.
If you want to enter UUID for this, you have to go back and copy the UID for LV this. Just exit the editor.
Okay. Okay.
Run blkid. And this path /dev mapper my wall my LV. Copy this complete from UUID. Field 7, not block size we want, just UUID we want.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah. Now make an entry here. below this UUID one. You can press shift insert.
I'm insert mode.
Shift plus insert to paste it. I think it is not. Yeah. Remove these colons from the string
Be insert.
equals, yeah. Now we have to give the path that is /bin where we have mounted it. Space. Our file system type is ext4.
Yeah.
Only ext4. We have to type no slash. Space defaults.
Okay.
Space 0, space 0.
What is this? 0, 0.
Look in this, first one 0 are non-dependent, but the second one we use for whenever our system get rebooted, it will check for our mount file system type.
Yes, you are right.
And what is this first 0 for? Like this defaults ke jo after.
See, this is just to check the file systems only, but first zero like defines a particular like that moment when system is going to go shut down, and last zero defines a particular time when system is starting up.
Okay. Now you can save it. Now run the command mount-a to update the tables.
Mount.
Mount-a.
E.
MOUNT. A. No T.
A.
Yeah. Yeah, it is done now. Look at this, and now we have to extend it the LVM.
First of all, check if it is mounted. Yes. Now extend this LVM to 4 GB.
Okay. For that, we have to run a command lv extend -l capital L space plus 4G space sir, we will give this name /dev mapper my vol or the volume that my LVM we have created. Press enter. If it will not, it will give error. Size of the logic. Yeah, it is extended. Now we have to resize it. For that, we have to run a command resize to fs.
Continue.
Resize to fs. This name, the path we have given.
Dev.
Resize numeric to then FS.
Okay. Shall I enter?
Yeah. Now run a command df-th. It is extended.
Okay, do one thing. Finally, clean up this particular. Like remove remove LV, VG, then PV. After that, I'll take control and we will move ahead.
I don't remember the cleanup command right now. Can anyone help? For cleaning.
Just run,
LV remove.
unmount it and run command LV remove, VG remove, and PV remove.
Dash beam now, sir. No.
You mount. You have to run, not a mount.
Okay.
First run df-th to check it whether it is unmounted. Now we have to delete LB. LB delete.
LV.
Delete.
Clean, huh?
Yeah. Clean. So it is clean or delete?
LV remove.
Now LV name you have to. Now run LV display to check whether it is enough. Yeah, no LV is there. Now we have to remove VGS. For that, first, let's see the name of our VGS. VGS. You can run a command VGS or VGS display. Both will work. Now we will remove my wall group.
Now you have a task to restore this LVM.
Anand.
Anant,
Uh,
restore LVM. Any other one who has idea about restoring LVM? Okay, run a command VGCFG restore.
VG.
VGCFG restore.
CFC, sir.
CFG.
Okay.
Tab.
Okay.
No space. Without space, press tab here. Yes. Hyphen list. And give your volume name, my wall.
Yes, show my.
So now you have these files.
Okay.
Okay, you can copy like this file before executing VGS and just check when did you remove this LVM? So you executed this command. Just go back and like copy this particular file.
Which one?
This etc, like second top line. Go up. This one.
This one, sir.
Yes.
ETC, LVM.
No, not this one. The upper one. File name.
Okay.
Copy this file name.
Okay.
Now run a command. VGCFG restore -f. Paste the file name. Space volume group name.
This one, sir.
Just my wall.
Never. Restore.
Now run a command VG change space -ay VG change
Change.
-ay
Can I enter?
No, you have to define the volume group name. Hit enter. Now you can run a command to mount the particular like LVM onto that particular mount point. Okay, did you remove entries from your FSTF file?
No, sir.
Just
No,
run
sir.
command mount -a.
-a.
Hmm.
No.
You run a command LVS hit enter. Okay, so the scenario here is the particular file which we have picked to restore it that does not have proper metadata of this particular LVM. That is why it is showing like that. Run a command df-h.
Sir, I think, sir, etc fs tab in the etc fs tab file, it has given etx4 instead of ext4.
Okay, let us check that as well. Yes, right. You are right. So that is the spelling error. That is typo error. Go to that particular file.
ETC.
fs tab.
Yeah.
Yeah, ETX4. Just change it to EXT4.
So why it is not giving error when we run this command last time?
So that was already mounted.
Okay.
Change it to EXT4. df-h. Fine. Which means we are good with LVM part. Now let me take control and we are going to cover SSH and other services today, right?
Thank you.
Hmm. So guys, today we are going to discuss about SSH. This is such a service which is usually discussed during interview, right? Like a very common question is like, there is a remote server, I'm not able to do SSH into it, what could be the problem? So those sort of problems we are going to discuss today. So guys, any questions so far? Like you guys might have done some practice for any topic and you faced any sort of issues. So we can discuss that. Any question, guys? Guys, any question?
No, sir.
Shall I consider this silence as no?
सर
Yes, sir.
मेरे पास एक क्वेश्चन है.
Yes, please go ahead.
एक ग्रुप को हम सूडो एक्सेस कैसे दे सकते हैं? रूट एक्सेस पूरा कैसे दे सकते हैं?
Why do you want to assign a group root access?
Because I want system administrator.
Okay,
So that.
good. I'm going to tell you right away. That will take some time to bring the service up. Do we have Vim here? I guess now we all are aware of these commands, like what is yum install vim -y.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. So guys, there is a file etc sudoers. I told you before as well. So this is how you can do that. Like you can define a group name here. Rather than defining individual users, you can define a particular group. Let us say you can create a group admin and you can add multiple users to that particular group. And after that, you can define that group here. Allows people in group wheel to run all commands, right?
Okay.
Okay, so today guys, we are going to discuss about SSH. So guys, what is SSH? How does it work? What is use case of it? That sort of thing we are going to discuss today, right? Okay, so first of all, let us check the RPM of it. RPM, that's QA, pipe, grab, SSH. So guys, if you see here, there's a particular client, which is known as Open SSH client. And the particular server package is Open SSH-server. Right, guys? Okay, now let us see that what are the particular files which are created by this particular package. How do we check it? How do we check the particular files created by any individual RPM?
QL.
Great. So guys, first of all, let us see about this. we have etc pam.d, then SSH, we have etc SSH, SSHD underscore config. So guys, keep this thing in mind. This is the main configuration file for SSH server, right? We will work with this file. Then after we have etc sysconfig SSHD. So these are three main configuration files which you need to work with, right? These three files we will have to work with. So first of all, let us begin with the main configuration file of SSH. And guys, keep this thing in mind. The particular service here is SSHD. Like SSHD is the service name. Guys, what is the port number of SSH?
22.
22.
Right. So the port number here is 22. The service name here is SSHD, right? Main configuration file is /etc SSH SSHD underscore config. This is main configuration file, guys. Right? So if you understand this particular file in a well manner, then you shall be having no problems at all while doing SSH into this particular server, right? Okay. So guys, first of all, like this particular file is like, this is a server wide configuration file for this server, right? Then after, what is the path? USR local bin. These are the particular path where SSHD command can be compiled, right? Moreover, the default port number here is 22. If you want, you can change it to any other one. For example, I would like to change this particular port number. So how will I do it, guys? For example, I want to run SSH on 2222 port number, right? So this is how I can change the port number. Moreover, address family any, for any, what does it mean, guys? Let us say that you are going to work with IPv address 4 or IPv address 6. So you can define that particular address family any. But by default, it supports both, right? Then after, host key. So guys, there is a particular file known as host key. So if you remember that whenever we do SSH into any host for the very first time, so at that moment that asks for like SSH key acceptance, like we have to define YES, right? So basically these are the files where from those keys are published. So these are known as host keys. Okay, then after, if we talk about like other system, other components here. So this is a particular system wide configuration once again. So if we talk about logging, so there are different level of logging. So like we have auth priv, we have warning, we have info, we have debug. So different level of logging can be done here. So syslog facility, auth priv, like authentication privileges, logs are only being published. Otherwise, you can define here log level info as well, right? Now, permit root login. So guys, this is one interview question. Usually people ask that I want that user root should not be able to do SSH. User root should not be able to do SSH on this particular system. So how do we enable that? How do we like disable root from login? We will define here no. Right, guys? In this particular case,
Yes,
user root will not be able to do SSH. Okay. So guys, there is a particular file when we make like any system passwordless. So in that case, we have to run some commands, and we have to copy one user keys to another user, right? So that with that particular keys are stored in users home directory under authorized key file. So we will do that particular thing as well. But for now, I'm just giving you an overview of this particular file. Moreover, password authentication, no, it means if you create a user on this particular server and you try to log in to the server with that particular password, you will not be able to do so because currently password authentication is disabled here. Right, guys?
Sir, can you repeat?
But let us say if I create, okay, I did not save the changes, right? I'm going to add a user add Lokendra, right? password, Lokendra. I have defined the password here. Now what I will do, I'll go to this instance. I'll copy the public IP address. I'll go to my terminal. I'll go to new tab here. I'll run a command SSH Lokendra@server IP address. So ideally it should allow me to log in. So guys, just see, it is not asking the password even. It is saying permission denied public key. Right? It is not allowing me to change the from the password even. So what will I do here? VIM/etc SSHD_config, and over here I will define here yes, like password authentication I'm going to enable. Right, guys? Now I'll restart the service. Systemctl restart SSHD. Right, guys? Once again, I hit the same command. Now it will ask me password, and that is it. I'm logged into same server, guys.
Yes.
Okay. If I disable it, let us see after disabling it what happens. If I log out from here, and if I try to log in again, once again, it will give me the same error, right? Okay. So guys, this password authentication piece is clear.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Without key, we are accessing now.
Yes, without key,
Key.
Okay, and now let us say if you want to like set up like key-based authentication, what will you do here? You will define here yes for the first time, or maybe without doing it, you can do that. We will restart service. We will go here and I will try to copy my keys onto that particular server. So how will I do it? So there is a command, guys, SSH-copy ID -I. I'll log into my home directory .ssh id_rsa.pub. This is a command. So guys, whenever we generate, okay, let me go back to this particular server. For example, I want to do SSH based on the keys. Right, guys? So there is no such file available. So in order to generate my SSH keys, like public and private key pair, there is a command. The command is SSH-keygen -t, define type RSA. So this is the type of key which we are going to generate. The command is SSH-keygen -t RSA. If I hit enter here, it will generate a particular file. So the file name will be /root inside users home directory. The folder is going to be .ssh. The file name is going to be RSA. So this RSA file is going to be the particular private key for me. Moreover, if you want, you can set some additional security on the top of it. You can set some password in order to access this particular file. But for now, I am not going to do it. But if you want, you can enable password on the top of these keys. Right, guys? Then after, you will hit enter. It will say the particular the key fingerprint is this, right? @Linux. Then that's it. So if we see here, so guys, there are two files created, id_rsa. This is our private key, and id_rsa.pub. This is our public key. So let us say, guys, in any scenario, if you have to ask any user to share keys, or you want to ask any user to share their keys, then only this particular key should be shared. If you share this key as well, it means you have breached the security that like your key will be of no use in that particular case, because that is public now, anyone can access that. So guys, in a nutshell, I want to say, if I share this particular key with you, and along with this particular, then you can log into any system with my credential. Okay, let us do one thing. So if you see here within this particular tab, I already have my keys available. Right, guys? Because I do not want to generate, I have added this particular key to multiple places. So what will I do here? It will ask me, okay, see what is happening here. So first of all, USR bin copy SSH-copy-id info secure keys to be initialized. The location of this particular file is /users Lokendra. Why it is showing /users? Because I'm working on Mac operating system and this is the default directory structure of Mac operating system, right? So users lokendra.ssh id_rsa.pub. This is the particular file name. Moreover, attempting to log in with the new keys to filter out that are already installed. Okay, it is checking it. In case remain to be installed, if you are prompted now, it is to install new keys. For example, if it might be already copied, then it might have informed you. Otherwise, it will ask you to enter the password. I'll hit enter password here. So right now, number of keys added. Now try to log in into the machine with SSH. This is the particular command which I need to enter in order to log into that machine. Log in without any password. Right, guys? Now,
Yes, sir.
now you
Sir,
can ask what is the use case of it.
Actually, yes, I was asking that we use only for the secondary users, not for the root, this method.
Nice question. Permit root login is yes. Now what will I do here? I will do the same thing for user root. Now I will try to log into that system with root user.
Sir, what is the use of this SSH copy ID command?
So this particular command is copying this particular key to remote server.
At what location, sir?
This location.
That will be the public key, right?
Yeah, that will be the public key. So if you see here, okay, let me do one thing here. I have deleted that particular key. I will hit the command again. It will ask me the password. I'll enter password. It will say copy, like keys added. So guys, within this particular file, my keys will be added. So if you talk about like user Lokendra, so we can see like /home lokendra.ssh authorization key. So within that file as well, like so whatsoever user I'm trying to make like key-based authentication. Like if I want to enable key-based authentication for any user, then guys, within the particular users home directory, there will be a folder known as .ssh, and inside that folder, there will be a particular file known as authorized_keys. So within that particular file, we have to copy it. Now the particular real-time use case of this particular, for example, we are working with like Ansible user, right? We are working with Ansible, or let us say we need to work with Jenkins. So what happens? At the time of deployment, we have to copy the particular directories, files, or maybe you can call that software, or maybe the particular build artifact from one server to another. So guys, it is not practically possible to enter password every single time, right? It is not practically possible to enter password for every single time to log into every single server, right? So in that particular case, what is done here is like we can easily configure our server to be enabled with password-less authentication. Right, guys? We can enable our server to be password-less authentication. Password-less means this will be authenticated based on the keys. And what is the particular sequence, guys, here? Let me show you that particular. Okay, I will try to hit this particular command, which is shown here as an example to log in with. Now, guys, in order to see the particular backend process, what is happening here, I will press here -v. Okay, see this particular thing here, guys, what is happening. So open SSH, the particular package version. Now reading configuration data etc ssh _config. So this particular file is on my system. Then after etc ssh config file number, like line number 47, applying for rule asterisk. Now like connecting to this particular server, right, on port number 22, connection established. Like if there is any connectivity issue, for example, if I tell you once again, like I go to this particular security section, I try to modify this particular security group, I added the inbound security rule. For example, I'm going to delete this rule. Nothing would happen now, because my connection is broken down. Just see, if I run the same command again on a new terminal, see, guys, where this particular command is stuck, first of all, it is showing open SSH, reading the particular local configuration file and trying to connect to this particular server. And over here, like nothing is going ahead. Why it is so? Just guys, why it is so?
Sir, security rule is not allowed.
Rather than calling it security group is not allowed, we should call it like there is a connectivity issue. My laptop does not have connectivity enabled to access to this particular server. So what will I do here? I will once again, because I perform this activity before you, but in order to debug this particular thing, so we can allow all traffic here from anywhere. Done? Okay, so it is once again like connection established. Then after identifying user key, then after it is trying to check remote SSH protocol. It is trying to connect to host because keys are already added here. Now found the key in user, host, and line number 31. So guys, if I try to show you here, oh, that is on my system actually. I'm trying to access it some other place. Guys, this is the particular key of that particular server. If I delete this line, then once again, whenever I will do SSH that server, it will ask me to type in yes and no. Right, guys? If you want, you can read this particular here, like reading the configuration file. This is like identifying file for user Lokendra. Then after it is showing authenticating to this server as root. Now SSH2 message sent. This is received, acknowledgement received. What is the algorithm being followed here? Right? Then after it is showing like accepting SSH2 message key exchange ECHD reply. Now it is showing that server host key is this. So guys, if you remember when we generated the particular key for user root, so at that moment this key was established there, right? Do you remember that? Guys, do you remember that particular? Guys, am I audible?
Yes,
No, no, sir, actually.
Okay. So if I type in here no, then it will fail and it will print a message host key verification failed. Right?
Yes.
I will have to type in yes in order to log into that server. So guys, if you see that I do not have to provide the password now, what it is saying? It is saying authenticated to this particular server based on the particular keys and all, right? Okay. Now,
Sir, just one question here.
please go ahead.
Actually, whenever we means connect the EC2 instance and download the PEM file, right, for the key pair, and whenever we go through the means cloud shell, then we need to change the permission of the file. Otherwise, it will not means shell will not accept. Means by default permission is read and write for that particular.
Okay. So when we create this particular key, so the particular permission of this file were only 600.
Yeah.
Where in public file it could be shared with others. So that is why it is kept as read, write, read and read for others as well. So at the time of downloading that particular key to our system, we have to run a command for like 400, but in this case it is 600. So our private key has to be kept very secure. Okay, now let us do one thing.
Sir, our private key means PEM file, right, sir?
Yes, that PAM file. So this is PAM file only. So this is the particular file which we download, and this is the particular file which is copied inside our server, which is created on AWS, and this particular key pair is stored. Okay, let me show you something. Get authorized key. So guys, there is a particular key name which I usually use, that is named with like Linux batch, right? So that key is placed here. Moreover, if I try to read the particular user home EC2 user .ssh authorized underscore key file, then even in this in that file as well, the same key is placed here. And this key is placed at the time of server creation. Okay.
Yes, sir. And public, the one which we shared with the other users. So, sir, we can delete that one and recreate as well whenever we need, sir, right?
So, for example, let us say there is a user Lokendra. So now user Lokendra wants to access this particular server. How user is going to access? Let us say like this, right? User Lokendra is able to access to this particular server without any password authentication, right? But now I want that user Lokendra should not be able to do so. So what we are going to do here? Slash home, and we will delete these keys. So let us say at the time of organization, like when you will go to face interview and someone might ask you that one user is going to leave the organization and his laptop's keys are placed on every single server in our organization. So what action will you perform if the user is going to leave the organization? So what will you say? First of all, you will make an entry within etc password file, sorry, etc like SSH file, etc SSH that user Lokendra will not be allowed to log into the server. You will make an entry, deny user. you will make an entry within this particular server that user login will not be allowed to log into this particular server. Right? This entry you will make to all servers, like you will run the command service SSHD restart. So if you try now, you try to log in with user Lokendra, then user Lokendra will not be allowed. Maybe I'm going to define my password, then also it will not allow me to log into server.
So in real practice, we do. I mean, someone resign from the organization, then we go for the deny that particular user.
There are two things.
that.
Either you can like make an entry within this particular file for deny user. Moreover, you can replace the particular keys, or you can disable user login.
Yeah.
There are three approaches which you can follow. First of all, you will remove the keys from user authorized underscore key file. Second thing, you will disable that user. Third thing, in every worst case scenario, right? So you will disable that user to log in to that particular system. And how you are going to disable that? You will have to make an entry within etc SSH SSHD underscore config file with a particular command that deny user. Right, guys? Okay, let us take it other way. Now you want.
So just one question. So for the every user in the root from the root directory,
come again.
we have this means authorization key for this every user, right? And we can,
right.
For the every means user, we have, this in this authorization key, we have a key means from the root user, right? So we can just delete that key, and then that user will not able to log in further, right?
Right. So let us say I have removed that particular deny user command, deny user line from my server. Now I will be able to log into this particular server with the help of lock and the user.
And sir, one more thing, sir, can we create multiple public keys, sir, like different key for different user?
Yes, every single user can create like its own key. Let us say ABC here ll/.ssh. This user has its own key. Now switch user with Lokendra. This user does not have key, so just generate it. Now this user has its own key. If you want to generate like different key for user EC2, just switch with user su-ec2-user ssh-keygen-t rsa. So every individual user will have its own key.
So, sir, we creating this means key for the particular user. For in future, we can share these keys with.
We will share. Okay, let us say. Okay, let me create another machine here.
Voice is breaking.
Voice is breaking.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, great. So let us say I'm going to create one new server here to show you guys that how do we work in real-time environment. So the activity which we are going to perform here with 2 servers, same activity is performed in real environment with thousands of servers. So guys, I have just created one another machine here, right? Okay, so guys, what we are going to do here, we have two servers. Okay, let us define it one name. This is Linux server 2, right guys? And now what we are going to do with this, we will enable password based authentication from Linux server 1 to server 2. So guys, how do we do that? So guys, first of all, we will generate a particular key of this user that is already there. We will copy these keys. We will log into another server, which is Linux server 2. Now we will go to the particular user's home directory. For example, in this case, vim.ssh and authorize_key. We will paste the keys of that user within this particular server. That is done. Now we will copy the IP address here. And we will run a command SSH root @ and key-based authentication is enabled. Now we are able to log into that server from this machine as root user. Right, guys? Moreover, if root user is not recommended one, what you can do here is you can add the keys to some other user as well. Let us say to EC2 user. Just add your keys to EC2 user, log in back to your main server where from you were trying to access the server, change your username, and that is it. Now, the real use case here is, for example, you want to copy some files from this server. Let us say you want to copy etc directory. You will run the command scp-r/etc to which server? This one. So it will not ask you password. Right, guys? So at the time of doing deployment or maybe at the time of performing any other operation, so your servers are not going to ask you to enter password every single time. Right, guys?
Sir, but we have to copy and paste the keys of each and every server manually, one by
Yes,
one.
one time.
One time.
Yes, and for future reference, what can you do here is, like you will say that you have your golden image available with you, or maybe like VM template available with you. So within that VM template, you have created the default user and you have added the particular key of your jump server, maybe of your Jenkins server, maybe of your Ansible server into that particular template. So whenever new server is created, so that is already enabled with passwordless authentication from my primary server, where like whatever primary server you have, maybe that could be your Jenkins, that could be your Ansible, that could be your any other server, right?
What is golden service?
Okay, golden AMI means, let us say that you are working within a production environment, right? And over there you need some software which are like required for sure, such as like you require the HTTP, you require Java, Maybe you require MySQL, right? And like 5 users has to be available. All the users should be enabled with passwordless authentication, means key-based authentication. So if you have configured such a system which is ready to be added to production environment, so for all the upcoming servers, for all the upcoming instances, you will need same sort of configuration there, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you are going to create an image of that server, that is known as golden image.
Okay, sir, got it.
Golden image or golden AMI.
Yes, sir. This is really a best practice, sir. Like set up a server with all configuration and take a image.
Yes. So let us say all the base software, for example, that your organization says that like there are a couple of commands. Let us say VIM editor has to be there, and map command has to be there, sysstat command has to be there, like SR command, right? And map command, or maybe like there should be a particular folder with the script available, right? There has to be a specific mount point to keep your specific data. So if you want to have these sort of configuration enabled across your environment, then you can configure only one server one time without installing any custom software on that. For example, it is not sure that you are going to use Java 7 or Java 9, right? So what will you do here is the base version of Java, whatever you have, you can configure it there, and the rest of configuration you can do later on. So these are the best practices of organization, that rather than creating users every time whenever new machine is created, so you just create you just create a server, configure it properly, get it checked with security team and whatever. Then after, you will use this particular image to launch new and upcoming servers within your environment. So either you can call it base image or you can call it golden image. That will be depending up to you, like whatever name you want to give it to the server, you can give.
Sir, in the auto scaling, something similar like this happens, sir.
Yes, definitely. So within auto scaling, if you remember yesterday, first of all, we configure, okay, not within this batch, that was something else. So first of all, let us say we have to configure auto scaling group. First of all, we create web servers, or maybe we create app servers, we configure it properly. We enable all the services across reboot. Only after enabling these sort of things, we enable that AMI with auto scaling group in order to provision new servers. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
So guys, are we clear with this? Like, how do we change port number of like Linux operating system server? Let me change the particular port number here. etc ssh sshd_config, not vim command available here. Yum install. Okay. What port number do we want to define here? 2222. And guys, see this thing. This is really interesting thing. So guys, if you change a particular port number of any service, right, then that particular port number has to be whitelisted with SE Linux as well. Now, what is SE Linux? I'm going to tell you that. First of all, let me execute this command. So guys, are you aware of what is SE Linux?
Sir, you mentioned in one lecture, it's something related to security, sir.
Yes.
Then you are telling the dot at the end of the directories.
So guys,
Permissions.
whenever we run the command ls-l capital Z, so this command will enable some additional parameters here along with this particular file. So these parameters are defined in order to ensure, and guys, this particular dot represents that this system is enabled with SE Linux. Every single file, wherever this dot is found, so that particular dot represents that this particular file is enabled with SE Linux context. These are known as SE Linux context here, right? So if I change the particular port number, let us say service SSHD restart, if I do that, so it will fail. Why it is failing, guys? Because this system is enabled with SE Linux. And if you see here, so I'm trying to change the port number and SE Linux contexts are not enabled on that particular port number. That is why it is failing. So if I run a command here, set enforce. Check, let us run a command get enforce. So the get enforce command is used to check the status of our SE Linux. So that is enforcing. Guys, there are three modes. The very first mode is enforcing. Let us see the particular file etc sysconfig SE Linux. So guys, there are three modes. Either enforcing. This is the file which you can, which you will have to remember, guys. etc sysconfig SE Linux. There are three modes of SE Linux. Enforcing mode, like SE Linux. SE means security enhanced Linux. Security enhanced Linux. Security policies enforced. Permissive mode. Security Linux. Security enhanced Linux prints warning instead of enforcing it. Like it will just capture the log. It will not prevent any service or any miscellaneous activity on the system, but it will just capture the logs. Disabled, no SE Linux policy is loaded. Right, guys? So what are the, if someone is going to ask you what are the mode of SE Linux policy, so what will you say, guys?
Three modes, sir: enforcing, permissive, disable.
Yes. And what does enforcing mean? So it is not only going to monitor, but it will prevent unwanted access. Permissive means it will not prevent, but it will monitor and can capture the logs. Disabled means
Nothing would happen.
nothing will happen. Okay. So first of all, either we can modify. See, guys, keep this thing in mind. If we change this particular configuration file here, and guys, if we have to remove any line completely, then we can type in shift and C, like capital C. So capital C is used to delete the particular text after the cursor. This is Vim editor. This is also one shortcut. I thought of telling you. So guys, if we change this particular mode from one to another, then in that particular case, we will have to reboot the system to take effect. Right, guys? But obviously we are not going to reboot the system. So what we can do here is, there is a command set enforce 0. So set enforce 0 will enable, will turn it to permissive mode for runtime only. Guys, keep this thing in mind. This is for runtime only. If we reboot the system and the particular configuration file has the enforcing mode enabled, so once again it will turn into enforcing. But for now, if we enable set enforce 1, so it will enable it. We have only these two commands: set enforce 1 for enabling, for enforcing mode, set enforce 0 for permissive mode. And guys, disabled mode cannot be achieved by running these sort of commands here, right? We will have to go and we will have to disable that particular within that particular configuration file, which is this. We will have to define disabled here. So guys, we cannot disable SE Linux in runtime. We will have to reboot the system. Are we clear with that?
Yes, sir.
So there are three modes: enforcing, permissive, and disabled. Enforcing and permissive can be switched on runtime with the help of a set enforce command. Set enforce 1 for enforcing mode, set enforce 0 for permissive mode. And to check the status, we can run the command get enforce. Right, guys?
Sir.
So we will set it to this one, and after that we are going to start the service of SSH. Do you see the difference, guys? Now, if I enable it, it will fail once again. So port 22 is not listening here. I'll set it to permissive mode. I'll try to run this command. I'll check the particular port numbers. So that is listening on port number 2222, right guys? So guys, if I have to log into that server, how will I do it? I'll run a command here. SSH connection refuge. Why it is so, guys?
Sir, because port number has been changed.
SSH hyphen small p, then port number, then username, and then IP address. So we have to specify hyphen p option in order to do that sort of information, right, guys?
Yes, sir. Is there any use case to do this, sir?
Yes, in order to enhance security, because by default, what happens that most of operating systems which are configured on Linux, so these are using port number 22 to enable SSH service. But in order to do some, have some customization port, and that everyone should not be able to know it, so we can modify these ports to enhance the security. Well, let me tell you, like obviously we like these are just security rules that we can use it. Otherwise, there is no such way that we can hide it. Why it is so? Let me tell you. I told you one command, guys, nmap. Guys, I told you a command, nmap. So this command will tell me that where my SSH service is running. This is the IP address of this machine. This is Linux server 2. So although guys, we have modified this, but still we are not able to hide it properly because nmap command can rescan it. Right, guys?
Yes, sir. Sir, but only that the person who have access of this machine only can check.
No,
This port number
anyone who has access to this network. For example, if this machine is working on internet.
Yes, sir. Okay, so the person who has IP can check the port number.
Yes,
as well.
yes. So as we use yum on Red Hat, apt-get on Ubuntu, so we use brew on Mac OS. So what I'm trying to do here is I will try to show you that I can check the particular availability of that particular open port number on that server from here as well. Moreover, there is a particular site nmap.org. This is nmap.org. You can check the particular you can bug reports, you can OS detection. So these sort of configurations are here, which you can figure out. You can run a particular nmap security scanner. You can run it from here itself. Right, guys? So even there is no need to have even nmap command available on your system. You can access nmap on like this online, and you can hit the particular command. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
And ideally, let me tell you that nmap command is not recommended to be used on any of the particular production environment, because this particular command is considered to be used for hacking purpose, and hacking is by default not allowed. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now you tell me if you have any other question related to SSH, like how do we change port number, how do we access it, how do we generate SSH keys, how do we like copy and paste keys of SSH to another server, how do we make passwordless authentication, how do we change port number. For example, if you one more thing, sudo su hyphen, I would like to tell you that vim/etc SSHD underscore config. For example, guys, there could be a scenario where you want to allow a complete group to log into server. Allow groups, maybe HR, maybe deny group, admin, allow users, Lokendra, Rohit. So guys, these are the particular syntax to allow or deny an individual one within this particular configuration file. For example, if you want to deny any specific user, so you can use deny group. So guys, keep this thing in mind. If you allow HR, so by default, all other all other group will be blocked by default.
All other means, sir, the user
Okay,
inside that group.
let us say there are 5 candidates who are waiting to meet me.
Yes, sir.
Right? Let us say Ramesh, Mahesh, Suresh, Dinesh, and whatever. So I say only Mahesh come inside. So what does it mean? Rest all 4 will have to wait outside.
Yes, sir.
So what did I say? Allow Ramesh. Rest all 4 are, or maybe rest all users, or like apart from Ramesh. So rest all are denied. Moreover, let us say I want to deny one. So what, like these are the particular 2 parameters which we should not use in parallel within this particular configuration file. Either we should allow or we should deny. So what parameter we are going to use here? Let us say out of 100, we are going to block 2 users. So we will use deny users parameter here, right?
Yes, sir.
Because the number of parameter where we have to define less values, we will use that here. Because we want to allow 98, so it is of no sense that we are allowing 98 users in order to block 2, right? Wherein, let us say if we have to allow only 2 users, we will not use deny user parameter. We will say that out of 5, only Ramesh and Suresh can come inside, rest all will wait out, which means we will use allow users parameter here in this particular configuration file. So we can perform this activity for users and group both. We can allow any group or we can deny any group. We can allow any individual users or we can deny any individual users here. So these are going to be space separated lines. You can define multiple names within this configuration file.
Sir, yeah, here means allow user means like Lokendra and deny user is Rohit. So whenever we already mention allow user Lokendra, then why we are means mentioning Rohit will be deny? It's automatically deny, I think.
So that is why I was just trying to tell you that we are not supposed to use both in parallel.
Yeah, yeah.
So like if we are allowing user Lokendra, so by default all other users are by default denied.
Yeah, right.
So I specified those particular values for showing the particular syntax.
Okay.
Like how do we use this particular, right, guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to save this configuration file. So I guess, guys, we are good with SSH now.
Yes, sir. Sir, I just want to ask one thing. Suppose, sir, I have a server, sir, and if I want someone to access that server, when I whitelist his public IP, the person who want to access, so how I would achieve this? So did you get my question, sir?
Definitely.
It's for a certain period, like 1 or 2 hours, because
No,
public
that does
IP
not
change.
happen. That
Yes,
does
sir.
not happen. Like time-based restrictions, we cannot allow here within security groups. What you will do here is, you will go to edit inbound rules. You will delete this rule. You will add a rule. Like, for example, you will add a rule for SSH. First of all, my IP address. Let us say Lokendra IP. Right? Then after you will add another rule, custom IP address. Like that is going to be port number 22, because I know for SSH I'm allowing custom. And over here I'm going to allow, let us say 12.30 like 23/32. Right? This IP address belongs to that person who wants to access my server. I will define here like temp access for Tom. Maybe you can define delete at let us say 2 p.m. So anyone who will see this particular entry here will be able to remove it at 2 p.m. But this security group does not allow us to set such sort of rule that this particular IP address should be removed after 2 hours. Yes, maybe it could be a
Yes, sir.
particular possible way that you can automate it. So you will whitelist IP address of that user in the security group like this.
Okay, sir.
Well, I'm not going to save this sort of rules. Why it is so? Otherwise, my server will once again stop working. Right, guys? Okay.
Yes,
Any other question, guys?
Sir, I have little confusion with key-based authentication.
With
Key-based authentication, sir.
okay. And what sort of confusion do we have?
Sir, how it happens in if there is one user
Mm-hmm.
and he has to access the means 10 servers.
Okay.
So we need to place the public key of the user in all the 10 servers manually.
Yes.
Okay,
For,
sir.
for the very first time, we will have to do this activity manually. Why it is so? Let us say if you have to log into 10 servers, so all the time you will have to place password, right? If you log into a server 10 times in a day, so all the 10 times you will have to enter your password as well, right? Getting my question? If you have to log into a server 10 times in a day, so all the 10 times you will
Right,
enter
sir.
your password.
Right.
So in order to
Oh.
mitigate that situation, what will you do here is you will enter your username password once, and after that you will copy and paste your keys from your laptop to your server, or from your one server to another. That will be one time activity. So you will not be doing it again and again.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, that is the use case here.
Like suppose if I
So
am
guys-
accessing with Windows machine, so
Okay.
sir, on Git we have to do the same.
Right? You can generate your keys of Windows server, and you can place the like keys, like you can use Git bash there.
Yes, sir. That thing I was asking.
Yes, yes. So okay, now what next, guys? What we are
Sir,
going to
there is one user, Kamal. So that Kamal user is need to be created on all the 10 servers.
right?
Okay, sir. And we have to place the public key of the Kamal on server or in user Kamal.
Okay, let me tell you that. User add Kamal. This is Linux machine. First of all, I'll generate a key here. Key generated.
Yes, sir.
Now let us assume that we want to add this particular user's key to some other server within EC2 user. That user Kamal would like to access other servers with the help of EC2 user. So you can assume rather than EC2 that this is Kamal, because I'm actually not willing to create another user here, right? You can assume that we are adding the key of Kamal user from server 1. This is user Kamal. I'm trying to add the key of Kamal user onto another server in Kamal user itself. Just assume this is Kamal, right?
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, we can also use SSH copy ID command.
Yes, you can use, but in that particular case, you need to know the password of remote user.
Okay.
So right now, what we are going to do here, guys, we are going to access this particular server. What is IP address? Let us copy it. Now I'll run a command. See, I'm logged in with user Kamal, SSH, and then EC2 as user. So guys, if you remember, I copied the key of Kamal user in remote server with this particular user, right? If I might have created user Kamal on remote server, then I might have specified Kamal here, right? Kamal,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
any confusion here?
No, no, sir.
Connection refused. Why it is so? Because I've have to define port number. Without providing any password, you are logged in.
That means हम वो अपनी की किसी भी यूजर में डाल सकते हैं.
Right, but in order to place the key, you should have authentication level access. Because let us say you cannot place your keys into this server. Why it is so? Because you do not have access to this. First of all, you need to have access to any server. Only then you shall be able to place your keys within the server.
Okay, sir.
Because see, where you will be supposed to do password as authentication, where you have like authorization first, right?
Right, sir.
Okay, so what next? What we are going to study today?
Sir, what is the use of SFTP and SCP?
Okay, nice thing to ask. Okay, so first of all, let us discuss about two major commands which are basically used in day-to-day life. So guys, the commands are SCP and rsync. Guys, any idea about what is the difference between SCP and rsync?
Yes, someone asked me in the interview, sir. I don't have any idea about it.
Sir, rsync means complete copy. It will completely copy one file to another.
Okay, and what about rsync?
Rsync, sir. It will sync both the files.
So SCP, you have to copy entire block of the data, whereas rsync copies only the data which is changed or which is updated.
Okay, my favorite tool. This is going to help me. Okay, I have server 1. There is a directory known as /data. Now I have server 2. So server 2 has a folder known as /backup. Right? Now inside /data there is a file, and the file name is maybe my project 1.txt. Right? Today the size of this file is 2 GB. The size of this file with the name of like my project 1.txt is 2 GB today, right? So now I have to copy this particular file to this server. So how much data will I have to copy? 2 GB?
Yes.
Right? Next day, the particular file, obviously, if the file is available at both the servers, like backup server as well and on like main server as well. Next day, the size of this file becomes 2.2 GB. And the very next day, when I will copy this particular file, obviously the name is not going to be changed. Only size is increasing, not the name actually, right? So guys, can you tell me like how much data will I have to copy from this server to this server?
0.2.
But how will I identify that which amount of data is being added? The file is same. So how will I be able to add, or you can call that like, how will I be able to notify or identify that which particular set of data is modified?
By comparing the files.
Sir, unique command.
Okay, wait. Let me tell you, both the files are on different servers. So how will you be able to compile that? How will you be able to compare?
In the log, sir, we can change the list of file which has been changed.
Wait, so I'm telling you that this file has been modified. That this file has been added with like extra 0.2 GB of data. So let me tell you guys, there are two things. There are two types of objects available. The very first object here is known as block object. Block level storage. Second one is object level storage. Any idea about what is difference between block level storage and object level storage, guys?
Sir, I can try, sir. Sir,
Yeah,
block
please go
level,
ahead.
like, sir, it is stored the way file comes inside the storage. And object level, it break in the small parts, and the indexing of each and every part stored in the sir another file, and from there, sir, like in the RAM we use object level, and in the normal storage S3 we use block level storage.
So what is purpose? Why do we use different objects?
So
Like,
object level is fast, sir. Block level is slow.
are you sure?
Yes, sir. Maybe I am telling you. Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay.
Sir, in S3 bucket, we use object level storage, and EBS volume, we use block level storage.
Sir, I reversed the concepts. Sorry.
Okay, so buddy, let me tell you, we do not use block level storage in S3 or in EBS, and we do not use, because these are designed in this particular way that S3 is object level storage and EBS is block level storage. So let me tell you the difference. Why I'm trying to design this this way. So guys, the reason here is, if we are using the particular command which is known as SCP. So guys, SCP is basically object level command. So SCP does not check the particular blocks, like how many incremental blocks are available. SCP command is block like object level command, object level storage command. If you try to copy like this particular file, my project 1.txt from one place to another, today it is copied, like yesterday it was 2 GB, and SCP command copied entire 2 GB data to like destination server, right? Today the size of this particular file is 2.2 GB. Right, guys? Today the size of this particular file is 2.2 GB. So it is not going to copy 0.2 GB only. It will copy 2.2 GB from source to destination, because it is object level storage. It does not check the particular file existence on remote server. If the source is defined, then without checking that whether a remote file can be overridden or not, definitely it will override the particular file, because SCP is object level command. Now, if we talk about rsync, so rsync is block level command. First of all, it will check. Let us say today we copied the particular data with SCP command, and tomorrow we will copy the data with rsync command. So rsync will check first of all the particular size of this particular the block size of this particular file on source, and the particular size of this particular data on remote server, and all the incremental blocks, all the incremental data which is available here and which is missing at this particular place. So rsync will copy only the added, or you can call that incremental data from source to destination server.
Yes, sir. So, sir, incremental backup only possible in block level storage.
Yes,
Right?
incremental backup is possible only in block level storage.
Yes, sir. Because the data is stored here in chunks inside the memory, sir.
Yes, moreover, SCP and rsync both works on SSH protocol only. Only SSH connection is required to copy data from one place to another. Moreover, guys, keep this thing in mind. If rsync program is not available at your destination server, for example, you check that rsync program, or you can call it rsync package, is available on your source server, and that is missing on destination, rsync will not work. So this particular rsync package has to be available on both the servers, only then it will work. But in case of SCP, it is not required, because SCP is a particular command provided by like SSH package only. There is no additional requirement to install SCP, right? Are we clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Let us see in practical. So first of all, what I'm going to do here is I will modify the port numbers. etc ssh hd underscore config file. I'll modify the port number. I'll restart the service. Now I'll try to run a command scp -r. R for recursive mode. Like if we want to copy directory /etc, let us say sysconfig. Right, guys? And where I want to copy? On remote server in a location /temp. What is it? Actually, I was already logged into the same server. Copied files. This file requires additional permission. That is why it is showing permission denied. So guys, if we want to copy the same data again, we can use CRCC for compression. Okay, C is used here for compression of this particular. So C means compression, like it will compress the files on the fly. It will compress the file, it will transfer, and it will uncompress it. So guys, this is the particular command which is known as SCP. Now guys, if I modify the same command with rsync, let us see what happens. Guys, what is happening here? Why it is giving permission denied?
Maybe port numbers.
Port number is 22 only. I modified it. That is copying files. Let me show why it is happening. That is RF, sorry. I'll try to run the same command again. It is giving error. Why it is so, guys? The same command.
Sir,
Mhm.
yes, sir. Both command must be available on both. The command must be available on both machines.
So which means rsync command is not available on this machine.
Please check, sir.
That is available.
Not saved, sir.
So see, guys, first of all, let us check the options of rsync command. First of all, -b for verbose mode. Whatever data it will like increase visible like verbosity. Send these many bytes, receive these many bytes. Total size is 0, speed is 000. Everything it is showing like skipping directory sysconfig. Why it is so? Because of permission issue. So guys, it is showing that remaining all directories have been copied, but the particular rsync send files opened this one because it is permission denied. So it was copying files already, but as you know that it was not copying the files again and again. If you try to run the same command again, it will say like all the files are available. It will check the availability of files on remote and it will not copy the files again and again. So rsync does not copy already existing data on remote server, right guys?
Sir, it means that rsync command is safer compared to SCP.
So rather than calling that it is safer, but yes, it is useful. Why it is so? Because it does not take a lot time to copy data which is already available. For example, if you have a file of 50 GB, right? And there is only an increment of 2 GB. So rather than copying 52 GB data, like rsync command will be copying only 2 GB data, which is going to save your time and your network speed as well. I hope I'm clear on that. Moreover, if you want to see the options, so a lot of options are here, maybe quit mode, check some value, maybe archive mode, maybe recursive mode, maybe backup mode, update, directories, link, like copy links only, copy directory links, like keep directory links here, hard links, with like preserve permission. If you want that whatever permissions are available currently on this particular location, same permission should be preserved after copying the files on remote location. So these are the particular attributes of this particular command. Maybe you can prefer like IPv4, IPv6. So everything is available with this particular command. I hope we are clear with this. Like, why do we use SCP and why do we use rsync? See, it is saying that these are regular files and this is permission denied. It is not showing the particular files which are already copied here. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Maybe we can do the same in reverse manner as well. For example, if I want to copy the files from that server to local, so we will run a command scp. Or maybe we can define a particular directory sysconfig to local directory. Dot means current working directory. This is not a regular file. We can define here -r recursive mode. So it will copy the directory from remote server to local system. So it is not like we can copy from source to destination, but we can copy the files from destination to source as well. This is remote server. So within previous command, we were copying files from this system to another, but within this particular command, we are copying files remote system to our local system. Right, guys?
Yes.
Any questions so far? Okay, so guys, today we are going to discuss one more thing which is very, very important. So guys, what is difference between TCP and UDP? So Kamal, I guess you will be able to answer the question like what is use case of SCP, why do we use SCP, why do we use rsync?
Yes, sir. In SCP, it copy data again and again.
Yes.
They
In
do
rsync,
not check
yes.
data is present or not. But in rsync, it only copy the data which is not available at the destination.
Yes, for the first time it will copy 100%, and for
Yes.
next time it will copy
Next
only
time,
incremental data. But
right,
in
sir.
case of rsync package has to be available on source as well as on destination.
On destination.
Okay, guys. So my next question here is the difference between TCP and UDP.
UDP is for broadcasting. TCP is connection oriented.
Guys,
Yes, sir.
there
In
are two
case of
things.
UDP, we do not get any like acknowledgement.
Okay.
Data is received or not.
Guys, if you are planning to face interview with any big organization like Amazon, AWS, like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, or maybe like any big organization, so they do not ask you the particular individual commands. They just try to know the particular concept, that how much do you know about it, right? So definitely this sort of question will be asked to you, like what is difference between TCP and UDP? How does TCP like flow work? How does data travel on TCP? What is TCP three-way handshake? These sort of questions will be asked. So guys, that's why we are going to discuss these sort of things today. So first of all, we are going to discuss about TCP and UDP, then difference. Then after we will discuss about the three-way handshake of TCP. Then after we will discuss about HTTPS handshake. See the difference, guys. TCP versus UDP. TCP is connected, it is connectionless. State memory, this is stateless. Byte stream, packet and datagram. Order data delivery, no sequence guarantee. Reliable, it is lossy. Error free, error packets discarded. If there is any error within any package, then it will discard the particular packets. Handshake, which we were talking like TCP handshake. So this is known as, this will be providing handshake feature. This is no handshake. Flow control, over here no flow control. Reliability, but slow. Reliability fast. That's relatively fast. This is slow. And point to multicast, like security SSL and TLS. Security DTLS, datagram transport layer security. These are the major differences between TCP. Not only we cannot say, like someone can ask you which is faster. So guys, UDP is much faster than that of TCP because it does not provide you reliability. There is no sequence of data guarantee. Like this is stateless, this is connectionless, no handshake, no flow control, relatively fast, supports multicast. These are the particular features which you need to keep in mind, guys. Right, guys? If you want to know something else about like what are the protocols which are working, like DNS, IP telegram, DHCP, like many computer games, these are using the UDP. If you talk about like example of TCP, HTTP, HTTPS, or FTP, SSH, these are the particular programs which are using like TCP. So I hope we are clear with this thing, guys.
So I have a question, like in the example they have given DNS and DHCP, like how we use DNS and DHCP, like in case of UDP, like.
So see, like TCP, like DNS and DHCP both supports UDP as well as TCP.
Okay.
But by default, if you do not specify any like protocol, so at that moment DNS command, like let us say if we're talking dig command, NS lookup command, so these commands are by default going to travel over UDP packets only.
Okay. Like if there's a DNS server or DHCP server, right? So when we are opening a security group, should we open TCP or UDP? I think if we should open UDP.
You guys should open both.
Okay, both.
Yes, because DNS supports both protocols, TCP as well as UDP.
Okay. So is there any source like reference where I can read these kind of stuff? Like,
This is the particular file, etc services on Linux operating system.
yes, yes.
So it will tell you like this is the particular protocol. It uses TCP or UDP. If you talk about FTP, so FTP uses TCP as well as UDP. If you talk about port number 22, so this uses TCP as well as UDP.
Okay, okay. So from here we can do it like.
Yes, you can identify.
Okay.
You can read it. You can take it for, you can use this particular file for reference of defining the particular protocol being used by an individual service. So guys, well, let me tell you, most of services works on both, like TCP as well as UDP. But as we talk about like TCP, like SSH works on TCP, then it means the particular primary use case of TCP is the primary use case of SSH is TCP only. So sometime a person can ask you about FTP. So what are the ports being used by FTP? So guys, you will have to answer like 20 and 21 port number are used for FTP. 21 is used for authentication and authorization. Once your FTP connection is authenticated, data will be transferred over port number 20. So port 20 and 21 are used by FTP. I hope I'm clear on that, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one more thing I would like to discuss. TCP three-way handshake. Yes, guys, this is TCP three-way handshake. So first of all, host P and host Q. There are two servers like host A and host B. Host A will send synchronization request. Host Q will receive synchronization request, and it will receive synchronization request, plus it will add one additional packet because it is also going to send the synchronization request. Now synchronization acknowledgement plus Y plus 1 receive acknowledgement. So first of all, it will say hello, it will say hello plus 1, it will say hello plus 1 plus 1. It means, so this is a three-way handshake process. First of all, it will send hello packet, it will receive it, it will send acknowledgement plus hello, right? Finally, host P will confirm to it that yes, I have received your hello packet and I'm ready to transfer data. Clear, guys? This is known as three-way handshake. Or you can read this particular picture. First of all, synchronization plus acknowledgement and acknowledgement. Any question, guys? Guys, any question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, so if you have to explain TCP handshake, so will you be able to do so?
Yes, sir.
Sir, please once more, sir. Like, sir, first it will send and then receiver send a message of acknowledgement, sir. Like this, sir.
Come again?
Sir, first one person send the data, sir, P send the data to Q, and then Q send the acknowledgement request to P, sir, like this process.
Just listen, try to understand once again. It will send synchronization request that I want to connect to you. P
Yes, sir.
will send a request, like synchronization request will be sent to this server.
Yes, sir.
This server will send acknowledgement with synchronization request.
Yes, sir.
And finally, this server will send acknowledgement request to this server.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Just here, synchronization with acknowledgement, and over here send acknowledgement.
Okay, sir. Got
Receive
it.
acknowledgement. See, very simple straightforward request. Synchronization, receive synchronization. It will send receiving acknowledgement with receiving synchronization request with acknowledgement. Now it will finally send the acknowledgement request. It will receive it.
Like both of them informing each other, like we are connected.
Yes.
Something like
Okay. Let us read the sequence. First of all, it is going to send the X. It received X, and what it sent? Received Y plus acknowledgement X plus 1. It sent X. It is going to send Y, right? Plus acknowledgement for X plus 1. That yes, X has been received here. Now finally, it is going to send acknowledgement Y plus 1. It will receive Y plus 1, but because now acknowledgement is only being received, not the synchronization request. Synchronization with acknowledgement, and finally acknowledgement.
Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
The same way, like first of all, you call someone, you say hello, another person will say hello. Till the time you guys both are on the same page that yes, you are able to listen to that person and that person is able to listen to you, you guys will not continue talking. Right, guys?
Yes, yes, sir. Got it, sir.
Okay. So one more. If you understand this diagram, then no one will be able to fail you with an interview. Just read it carefully. And guys, this is for SS, like HTTPS.
TLS, sir. Right.
You can call that TLS or HTTPS, the same thing. TLS, same thing like HTTPS. So first of all, SSL, secure socket layer protocol version. First of all, it is doing like same stuff like TCP handshake, like synchronization with acknowledgement and acknowledgement. TCP connection established. These first three steps are for TCP handshake, because end of the day, the particular protocol which is known as HTTP or HTTPS, these works on the top of TLS only. Sorry, TCP only, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Tell me one thing. What protocol does HTTPS use? TCP or UDP?
So TCP, sir.
TCP.
So first of all,
TCP.
TCP handshake is happening here. Synchronization with acknowledgement, and finally acknowledgement. Three-way handshake of TCP is done. Now the connection is established. Right, guys? Now see the next step. So client hello. Client is sending a hello packet to server. Now when it is going to send, what is happening here? SSL protocol version, session ID, selected ciphers, server certificate, server hello extension, client certificate, request optional. So these are the particular things happening, and these are the particular things which are being sent from server side to this particular server. And what sort of data did this particular client send? Like first of all, SSL protocol version, session ID, list of cipher suits. Now guys, what is cipher suit? So cipher suit means the particular algorithm or the particular program which are used to encrypt data, or which are used to like transfer data with encryption. So it is going to send a list of encryption methodology. And guys, if you have to check like what are the encryption, like what are the ciphers being used on a site, how would you check it?
Sir, F12.
Pardon?
Sir, we can press F12 in browser.
And what would happen then?
Sir, advanced debug mode, it will paint.
There is a domain, or you can call that website like sslabs.com, right? Over here, you can get to know about the ciphers being used by any of the domain, whether that may belongs to you or that may belongs to any other one.
So what is cipher, sir? Ciphers.
So ciphers, as I told you, ciphers are the particular program which are used to encrypt data on the fly. Because see, when we talk about like HTTPS is a secure protocol, it sends data in encrypted way. So what sort of request does it send to server? First of all, like SSL protocol version, like SSL version 1, 2, 3, what? Session ID, list of cipher suite, and client hello extensions. So it is received here, and now server is going to send SSL protocol version, the particular list which is sent by client. So server will select any of the protocol version which is going to be used by both. Now it will accept the session ID and it will initiate new session, select cipher list, selected cipher. So the client sent the particular cipher list. Now server has selected a cipher and server certificate, because there is a certificate available on server. There is a SSL certificate available on server, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then after it will send server hello extension and client certificate request. If this is completely optional, if server wants, server can require a particular client to share the certificate, otherwise no need. Now it will send the request here. Now what would happen here? Like if you see server hello is being sent to this pre-master secret client certificate if required. So there is a particular situation which is known as pre-master key. So still there is no certificate shared. This is known as pre-master key. So guys, this particular key is used to establish a connection between server and client. Now client will send the data here. Client means the particular browser will send client certificate and pre-master key. So pre-master key will be accepted by server and server authenticates the client and session key creation. So at this particular layer, there will be session key created between client and server. What is client here, guys? Any laptop, any desktop, and the particular browser which is working on the top of it. So now master secret is used to generate semantic session key. Symmetric session key, not semantic, symmetric session keys. So guys, master secret, like this particular pre-master key, once it will be shared with master, so master will send the acknowledgement that yes, I accept this particular key. So that master secret is used to generate symmetric session key. So there will be session key generated, and with the help of that session key, client finished, server finished, and exchange message. Now client authentication is finished, server authentication is finished, and now data exchange will begin. So guys, this much happens when we try to open SSL website connection. See guys, this is showing the grade of certificate. That may take some time, but obviously it is going to show the data. So guys, this is very, very important to understand the concept of TCP and UDP. Guys, I will ask you guys about TCP, UDP, TLS, TCP handshake, HTTPS handshake and all next weekend.
Okay, sir.
Because guys, this is very, very important for the interview purpose.
Yes, sir. This was asked me in HTTPS interview, in one of the interview.
So it means the particular things which I'm teaching, these are usually asked in interview. Okay, so shall we move ahead towards HTTP protocol? We can understand today itself. Right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so guys, the particular package here is httpd yum install httpd -y. So guys, package is httpd, service is httpd, port number is 80 by default for http, and port number for https is 443. So guys, today we are going to discuss about http and https. So guys, first of all, configuration file for this server /etc httpd httpd.conf, sorry, conf/httpd.com. This is the configuration file for HTTP web server. HTTPD, this is a web server basically, right? Now guys, what we need to understand here, what are the things we need to take care of? Okay, so guys, what we need to take care of, first of all, this is the main Apache HTTP server configuration file. So guys, either you can call it Apache web server or you can call it HTTP web server. So end of the day, this is the configuration file of Apache, right? And if you talk about Ubuntu flavor, so within Ubuntu, the particular name of this package is Apache 2. But over here, the package name is HTTPD because right now we are working with, what do I call it, like Red Hat operating system. But with Ubuntu, the package name itself is Apache 2. So, okay, let us move ahead. First of all, guys, there is a particular directory which is known as server root. Server root means the particular location where main configuration files of these servers are placed. So that is etc httpd. And guys, what is location of this file? etc httpd conf http.conf. It means this is the server root main configuration file related to httpd are placed here. Now guys, this is the second directory here, which is listen. Listen means, as you were seeing there, like listen port in SSH. So same thing goes here, like what is the particular port where HTTP service will be listening? This is going to be port 80. And guys, there is an interview question. Can I enable my server to listen on multiple ports? Yes, guys, we can enable easily. Like our service will start listening on 2 different ports, maybe 80 and 80, right?
Yes.
Okay, so like there are multiple modules which are loaded inside it. So you can see like what are the particular modules loaded inside this particular configuration file, like conf.modules.d. Then after, when the particular service will be started, so user will be Apache and group will be Apache, like the particular process which will be initiated by HTTP. So the particular service owner and group is going to be Apache, right? Okay, like server admin. Server admin means, let us say you can configure your own email address here in case if there is any error or like anything has to be notified related to any warning, any error or any other stuff, then you can notify your email address and you will get an email if email service is configured with this particular server. Now you can define server name. So server name means like you can define your particular website name here. For example, I'm going to define here like servergyan.com. If I'm going to host ServerGyan on this particular server, I can define that here. Right, guys? I can define my website name. Now directory slash allow override none. Guys, these are some of the directories which are very, very important to understand. Allow override none. So this is the parent directory here. So no one will be able to go before this particular. So what does it mean? Deny access to entirety of your server's file system. You must explicitly permit access to web content directory in order directory block allow. So slash means the particular location which is where www.html. So no one will be able to access anything beyond beyond the boundary of that particular folder. So guys, this is document root. So the directory which is slash defined here, that is equal to where www.html. So whenever we are going to make any modification inside where www.html, only those folders will be visible over internet, but no one will be able to go under this particular folder. Like if there is any other folder which is created inside slash where www, so the person would not be able to see that. Only HTML folders content will be visible over internet. Now directory where www. So if you want, you can like require access granted. So if you want, you can block this particular access as well. If you see here, lacks access to content within where www. If you allow override none and required access grant, you can deny here. Require all, denied. If you define it denied, then no one will be able to access any content within this particular directory access this except this one. Any question so far, guys?
So we, in general, we deny this access, right?
Yes, in general, in order to enhance security, we deny this particular. Otherwise, like we can keep it open if we do not have really secret content within where www folder.
So we keep or most of the content in this one except HTML.
So like in 99% cases, if it is production server, then only there is only one folder created, which is HTML, and inside that, like all the folders and files which are available, these are supposed to be accessible over internet.
So, for rest other files, sir, like database.
So like it could be your index.html, CSS, JSS, and other type of files, maybe some PDF, maybe some TXT files, or whatever type of files are there. So these files are kept inside where www.html only. Yes.
So even JS files also we keep over there, JavaScript and
Yes, JavaScript, CSS files.
Sir, so in this way, sir, we are giving our entire code to someone else to access.
Come again?
Sir, in this way, we would give our entire code to someone else to access, sir.
So like until unless we are going to give the particular entire code access to like someone else, so how we are going to host the website? Just see it here. Like you can see the certificate, and if you see here, like everything is visible. Go to elements. You go to layout, everything is available here. Maybe you can go to console, you can go to sources.
So only front-end related data will, I mean, say,
Yes, front-end related data. No other application would be available.
So where we keep the other other files.
I mean backend.
Yes, see, this is a particular file which is written over there.
Sir, I got it. Like front-end files we keep in HTML, but sir, there are some other files like backend file controller things. So where we keep those files, sir? On the server.
These files are defined like this particular like source. These files are defined like source under this particular. Do you see this particular thing? Like I have removed it from here, like href tag I have defined as unknown, and it is like this was showing in a very well manner, but right now it is showing nothing. This is showing like this once again because the particular text is available here. See what like it is going to make some impact here. So the data will be made available here itself. So all the data, whatever we are going to keep inside where HTML, that will be accessible over internet. So guys, this is a particular directory index. The default directory, the default file which will be accessible over internet, that is index.html. But guys, keep this thing in mind. Sometimes we do not work with this one. Like we do not want to work with index.html. We want to work with index.php. So if PHP files are there, then we will have to define it in the index.php here. Okay, like if you want to like have .htaccess.ht passability file, like if you want to prevent people from accessing your website, you would like to enable username and password on your website, then you can use .htaccess in .ht passability file. So well, this is not usually done whenever we have to enable authentication. So rather than relying on this particular HTTP authentication mechanism, we rely on different tools. Some different mechanisms are there, like there will be other applications which will be used in order to enable authentication. Like you might have heard of databases, right? So rather than relying on HTTP for enabling username and password, we rely on backend services like MySQL database and other databases to enable authentication, to enable username and password for that.
Yes.
Now this is the particular log format. What type of logs you would like to have here. Now you can check here like H, L, like host, location, URI, timestamp, request type, service, referrer, like user agent. You can check here OS of user, and then after like input and the size of that particular request. This sort of like combination you can check, you can figure it out here. Moreover, you can check here the particular log level as well. You can define. So this is like if you have like any executable files, like CGI means common gateway interface, binary files, if you have, you can enable that as well here. We will not discuss this particular in that much detail. Why it is so? Because right now we are just trying to access, like enable the basic server. Next session we will discuss about HTTPS and others. So in that particular manner, we will have to enable and we will have to like set it up in detailed manner, right?
So, sir, this HTTPD Apache server support both HTTP and HTTPS.
Yes, it supports both, but we will have to enable additional module for it. I'll be telling you. First of all, let us have a particular server setup. So, guys, there is a particular directory where www.html. I'm inside it. I'm going to create a file here, vim index.html. So either I can create a plain text file, or if you guys know some HTML programming, you can define it like header. Maybe you can define some other tags as well, like you can define your h2. Right, guys? I'll run a command service httpd restart. Moreover, I will enable this service across reboot. Check config httpd on this command I will execute. And guys, keep this thing in mind. So rather than executing this command, I can execute this as well, like systemctl restart httpd. If I run this command, that will work in the same way. Moreover, rather than executing this command, check config httpd on, I could have executed this command, like systemctl enable http.service. Even that would also work in the same way. So why did I execute it? Because this particular command was used at the time of RHEL 5 and 6. From RHEL 7 and RHEL 8, this particular command is replaced with this particular one. right guys? And this particular command check config httpd on has been replaced with systemctl enable http.service command. So if I check status system ctl status httpd, then we will get to know that httpd service is running here, right guys?
So,
Moreover guys, there is a command on as pwdx. So you will get to know the particular location that where from the particular command is running actually, like ps-ef pipe grep httpd. So if you try to check this particular like PID pwdx, so this is going to show like parent process, like where from it is getting executed, like location of it, httpd, right guys?
yes, sir.
Okay, so now guys, I would like to access this particular website. Okay, what is the server IP here? Okay, this is Linux server 2. This is for Apache web server testing. This is for Linux batch. Web server is working fine for us, right guys?
Yes.
So within next session, what we are going to do here, we will learn about virtual hosting, right? Like how do we host multiple websites on the same server? Then after we will also learn here, how do we enable SSL certificate for a website? Then after we will learn the directory hosting. For example, if you would like to have a directory here, maybe /server gyan. If you define a directory, that should also be accessible. So this is like directory not found. But if you would like to access it, if you would like to enable it, so how do we enable that? We will learn that particular section as well. But for now, the basic settings of HTTP are good enough to practice. Right, guys?
Yes, sir. And sir, Apache
sir.
and Nginx both are similar kind of things, sir.
Both are used for the same purpose, but the particular configuration and the particular syntax of Nginx are a little different. Let me show you.
We will be doing that, sir. Nginx as a load balancer. There are many like used in accounts.
Yes, so basically Nginx is used as a load balancer majorly. But yes, Nginx can be used as a web server as well.
Load balancer for what? Website or sir?
Yes, for website.
Sir, so we use together Nginx and Apache. Nginx for
We
load
do not
balancer
use,
and for hosting.
we
Apache.
do not use Nginx and like Apache and Nginx like all together. So either we use Nginx or we use Apache. So guys, the particular main configuration file for Nginx here is etc Nginx. You will find here multiple configuration files. Let us say you will find here conf.d default like default.d. Let's log into conf.d over and there should be a configuration file. Okay, nothing is here for now. Vim nginx.conf. Just log into this. You will get to know like over here user is Nginx, worker process is auto, error file is going to be here, PID is going to be here, all the modules will be included that are kept here. Moreover, like if you talk about HTTP, log format is going to be like remote address, remote user, like time local, request, status, body sent, like HTTP referrer. These are the particular like configuration file going to be here. Then after it is going to tell you the particular root. So if you see like in Apache web server, we will say like directory, a document root, but over here, the particular name is known as root. Over there was a particular configuration file. There were no curly braces and all, but over here, this is really, really critical. We will have to ensure this sort of segment, these sort of curly braces are not removed or added in advance. If it is, then it will stop working. So guys, in order to work with Nginx, we will have to create files under this particular directory. So USR share Nginx HTML. So I'll remove all the data from here for now. And I'll copy directory from where www.html2. So if I try to access the same server once again with Nginx, so let me restart the Nginx service, guys. Let us see if I define here any the directory. So it will say Nginx not found. End of the day, whether you may use Nginx or you may use Apache, so configuration is going to be almost same, because we will have to modify both based on our requirement only, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
So I hope that is it for today.
So, sir, what is Tomcat?
Tomcat is Java based like application server.
Sorry.
Tomcat is Java based application server.
So it is an application. So what is the difference between application server and web server?
So basically, web servers are used to serve the static content, wherein like no detailing of business logic will be placed here. These are going to be redirect your web traffic to your application, wherein like you can place your jar file or war file inside your Tomcat, wherein like you can define your business logic as well.
So will you tell that things as well in this lecture, next lecture, sir?
So I can tell you like how to enable Tomcat and all.
Okay.
So, okay, guys, that is it for today. I'm going to stop recording. So, guys, any feedback for the session?
So far, sir, it's amazing, sir.
So, do you feel that this will help you out while facing interview?
Definitely, sir.
Because see, like from my end, I'm trying to touch upon every single detailing of the particular concept, whatever we are seeing here. Like if I feel that there is any word which is quite new, so I should be telling it. So I try to explain it. But guys, there is only one thing to say: please keep on practicing. Without practicing, it will be really hard for you. Because see, like every single day, like every single weekend, we are going to add another topic to our like bucket, which we need to practice on.